Hello lore fans! Cobheran with a bit of a different kind of video. So early access for Endwalker is right on the horizon as of the posting of this video, and we are all super excited to see what 6.0 has in store for us. But the reason for this video is because before early access for an expansion, I like to try and make predictions for what's to come. Not in the expansion about to release, but the one after. Before Shadowbringers released, I posted my Endwalker predictions on my Twitter. It's kind of like looking back a century or even 50 years ago to see what people thought the world of today would look like. So let's begin with that. On June 27th of 2019, before early access, I made the following predictions about 6.0. Let's see how they turned out. 1. 6.0 will reveal Ilsabard and the last areas of the Eorzean continent. This should be the three great continents, since Othard is not Eorzea. Well, we are going to Garlemald, but as far as we know, we haven't had the full map reveal yet. So while we are going to the heart of Ilsabard, we don't know if they're going to remove the clouds from the continent. Even Sharlayan is using the incomplete map because they can't let foreigners know that they know where the Garlean cerulean rigs are. So for now, chalk this one up to maybe. 2. It will be the conclusion of the Eorzea arc. We knew going into Shadowbringers that either 6.0 or 7.0 would be the end of Hydaelyn and Zodiark's story. But what wasn't as certain was whether or not we'd be leaving the three great continents. Given the events of 5.4, however, wrapping up some of the core conflicts in Eorzea, I'm pretty confident as of this video that this is pretty much in the bag. Once we started wrapping up the Beast Tribe conflicts in 5.4, not a whole lot remained to keep us there after we resolve Zodiark and Hydaelyn. Much like in old Western movies, the stranger comes to town, fixes everything, then rides off into the sunset for the next great adventure. While it hasn't been expressly stated, the groundwork has all been laid for us to make a clean exit from the area we know. So, based on that, this one definitively falls into the accurate probably category. Number 3. The Garlean Empire will not fall, but will remove the Ascians and be controlled by the Populares after a fierce internal struggle. More of a hope, but as of this point, the Garlean Empire is pretty much gone, and Gaius went off to rule Werlet instead of being forced to take back the Garlean throne. We did see the fierce internal struggle, but the Populares are probably all that's left of the Garlean Empire and hiding out underground living their best Fallout ghoul life. So we'll probably see the restoration of the Garlean Republic, and while I doubt they join the Alliance, I'm certain we'll see a hard truce put into place. So for this one, it's wrong on a technicality, but we have yet to see what becomes of the Empire, so kinda. Number 4. Yoshi P will announce his departure with the end of the 6.x series. I don't want this to happen, but I think it'd be a good time for this. There was a rumor going around in late Stormblood that Yoshi P was going to lead 14. He has addressed this. It's wrong. It's not true. So this is wrong. Past cop, you're an idiot. And number 5, I'll actually address this one later. So, now having looked at prior predictions, let's get into Final Fantasy XIV 7.0. There's a lot of groundwork that has been laid that can lead into a new arc. And while we don't exactly know what the 6.0 series will cover, we know that there aren't many significant plot lines that 14 likes to leave open. Of the major non-MSQ storylines we have open now, we have the Sound, which Yoshi P mentioned will not get resolved in 6.x, and will likely be the next big bad. The Void quests have started this, but I'd wager we're a ways off from restoring the 13th or really resolving the Void. And lastly, the New World, which has some minor conflicts that are explored in the Blue Mage storyline, but nothing major. Now, I could see people saying that 7.0 will be New World, but I'm thinking Mericidia, and have for some time. And here's why. In the Third Astral Era, the Allagan Empire opened up numerous Void portals on Mericidia. They used these to allow Voidsent to take the bodies of slain Mericidians for themselves. Mericidia has an extensive history that's been building since Heavensward, and unlike the Wallachie situation, the Mericidians are front and center. So let's go into our predictions. Number 1. G'rahatia will briefly die. I'm expecting a scene in 6.0 where Grahatia dies. Is not killed, at least not permanently, but dies. Why does this matter? Because in the Third Astral Era, Xande made a pact with the Cloud of Darkness that so long as his bloodline endures, the armies of the Void cannot invade the source of their own volition. Thus far, Xande's bloodline has endured thanks to Princess Selina's efforts. But should Graha die, even briefly, it would render the contract nullified. I imagine that 6.1 and beyond will deal with increasing Void activity should this happen, and eventually have no choice but to travel to the southern continent of Mericidia to push them back, while Uncalhai and Taylor on the first move forward with their plan to restore the Void. The influx of Void scent from the 13th could potentially set in motion a naturally occurring calamity, set into motion millennia earlier, but now with no one to regulate or maintain it. Number 2, we'll get more information on the sound. We've gotten precious little information about what the sound is, but one thing is certain, it still exists. We need only watch the Endwalker trailer to know that, as if it wasn't already obvious since neither Zodiark nor Hydaelyn addressed the source of the final days, only the symptoms. We will likely see more of this as we move towards the source of the sound, which originated somewhere in the Cataract if going by Antipode from Amarant. Number 3. We'll get a new cast of characters, but some will stay with us. The Scions as they are will remain, but will be something of a Scion in the field, perhaps with only Alice and Grahatia with us as we leave for Southern Shores. 7.0 will be massive in comparison to the expansions we've gotten thus far, likely equal in length to Endwalker. Yoshi P recently stated that they would spare no expense moving forward, and I can't imagine that the game would get smaller as it goes into the future. I hope you've enjoyed these, and I hope to check back in about 2 years when 7.0 comes out to review these and see how wrong or right we were. So, if you have any predictions about 7.0 or where you think the story might be heading, please leave a comment and let us know.